I used to believe that love felt like safety, like warm, late-night conversations, soft kisses before sleep, and the comfort of knowing someone had chosen you. For 3 years, I believed that person was Ethan. He was calm, charming, and the kind of man who knew exactly what to say when your world felt heavy. When my mother passed away, he stayed beside me every single day. When I lost confidence in myself, he reminded me of my strength. Everyone said I was lucky, and honestly, I thought so too. Before listening the full story, you don't forget to like and subscribe my YouTube channel. My name is Claire, and I truly believed I had found the kind of love people spend their whole lives searching for. We lived together in a small apartment downtown. Nothing too fancy, but it felt like home because we built it together. Sunday mornings were for coffee and pancakes. Friday nights were for old movies and takeout. It felt peaceful. It felt real. But sometimes the truth hides best in peaceful places. At first, it was small things. Ethan started sleeping later than usual. He would wait until I fell asleep, then quietly leave the bed. I noticed because sometimes in that half-awake state, I'd reach for him and the other side would be cold. When I asked, he smiled. "Just work stress," he'd say. "Sometimes I can't sleep." I believed him. Love makes you trust before it makes you question. Then came the phone. He used to leave it anywhere, on the kitchen counter, the couch beside me. But suddenly, it was always face down, always in his pocket, always locked. I noticed, but I said nothing because sometimes the heart delays what the mind already knows. One night around 2 a.m., I woke up thirsty. The apartment was silent, too silent. Ethan wasn't beside me. I walked toward the kitchen expecting to find him drinking water or answering emails, but instead, I heard whispers, soft, careful, hidden. Coming from the balcony, I stopped. His voice was low, and then I heard him say it. "I miss you too." My entire body froze. There are moments in life when time doesn't slow down, it stops. I stood there barefoot, holding onto the wall like it was the only thing keeping me standing. Maybe I misunderstood. Maybe it was work. Maybe there was some explanation. That's what I told myself, because sometimes denial feels safer than truth. He came back inside a minute later and saw me standing there. For a second, just 1 second, I saw panic in his eyes. Then it disappeared. "You're awake?" he asked. I nodded. "Who are you talking to?" Without hesitation, he replied, "My brother. He's having problems again." And just like that, he lied, smoothly, effortlessly, like he had practiced it. I smiled weakly and said, "Okay." But that night, I didn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling, replaying every little thing I had ignored, every late night, every hidden message, every sudden silence, and deep inside, something painful started growing. Not anger, not yet, just the terrifying feeling that maybe the man I loved was someone I didn't know at all, but what I didn't know that night was that his secret was far worse than cheating. And by the time I uncovered it, my entire life would change. The next few days felt like I was living inside someone else's life. I smiled when I had to, cooked dinner, answered his questions, pretended everything was normal, but inside I was unraveling. I started paying attention, real attention, the kind you only give when trust begins to die. Ethan became more careful, too careful. He stepped outside to answer calls, deleted messages quickly, took random business trips that never existed before. And every time I asked, he had the perfect answer. I hated how badly I wanted to believe him, because loving someone makes betrayal feel like self-destruction. One afternoon, while he was in the shower, his laptop lit up on the table. A notification, no name, just one message. "Tomorrow night, same place. Don't let her know." My hands went cold. I stared at the screen for what felt like forever. I knew I shouldn't open it, but I also knew my peace had already been destroyed, so I did. And there it was, weeks of messages, late night plans, secret hotel bookings, photos, promises. But the worst part wasn't that there was another woman. It was who she was. Sophia, my best friend. The woman who sat in my kitchen drinking coffee with me. The woman who hugged me and asked if I was okay. The woman I trusted like family. I couldn't breathe. I sat there shaking, staring at words that felt like knives. She suspects nothing. She's too trusting. Soon, everything will be easier. I felt sick, not because they had betrayed me, but because they had made me feel stupid for loving them. That night, I said nothing. I watched Ethan laugh at dinner, watched him ask if I was tired, watched him kiss my forehead like he hadn't just destroyed me, and I realized something. He didn't feel guilty. He felt comfortable. That hurt more than anything. The next day, Sophia texted me, "Miss you. Coffee this weekend?" I stared at the message and laughed. Actually laughed because pain sometimes turns into silence and sometimes into clarity. I replied, "Of course." That smiley face was the beginning of the end. I spent the next week collecting everything: screenshots, hotel receipts, bank transfers, even voice notes. Not because I wanted revenge, but because I refused to let them rewrite the story and make me the weak one. I needed truth, and I needed it clean. Then I discovered something worse. Ethan wasn't just planning to leave. He had been moving money from our shared savings into another account. Quietly, carefully, the future we built together, he was preparing to take it and leave me with nothing. That was the moment I stopped crying, because heartbreak is one thing, but betrayal with calculation, that creates a different kind of woman, a stronger one, a colder one. I sat alone that night and remembered something my mother once told me. When people show you exactly who they are, believe them the first time. I finally did. And I made my decision. I would not scream. I would not beg. I would not chase people who were already gone. I would let truth speak for itself. And when it did, it would be louder than any excuse they could ever make. Saturday arrived. Coffee day. Sophia walked into the cafe, smiling like nothing had happened. She hugged me. I let her, because sometimes the strongest revenge is calm. We sat down. She talked about work, about life, about meaningless things, and I just watched her. Finally, I placed my phone on the table, screen facing her. The messages were open. Her smile disappeared instantly. Silence, heavy, sharp, final. She whispered, "Claire, I can explain." I shook my head. "No, you had months to explain. You chose lies." Her eyes filled with panic, but I wasn't there for tears. I stood up and said softly, "I lost a boyfriend and a best friend, but you both lost someone who was real." And I walked away. That same evening, Ethan came home to an empty apartment. My clothes were gone. The shared account was protected. The landlord had already been informed. And on the kitchen table, I left one envelope. Inside were copies of every message, every transfer, every lie, and one note. "I loved you honestly. You destroyed that. Now live with the truth." He called 27 times, texted endlessly, apologies, excuses, regret. I ignored everyone because closure doesn't always come from answers. Sometimes it comes from choosing yourself. A month later, I heard Sophia had left town. And Ethan? He lost more than a relationship. Mutual friends found out. His reputation changed. The carefully built image he protected so much cracked. Not because I ruined him, but because truth did. And me, for the first time in years, I slept peacefully. No whispers on balconies, no hidden phones, no lies dressed as love, just peace. I learned something through all of it. Love should never make you question your worth. Real love feels safe. It doesn't make you suspicious. It doesn't make you smaller. And if someone betrays your trust in the dark, don't be afraid to walk into the light alone, because sometimes losing them is exactly how you find yourself. And looking back now, I realized something beautiful. I thought I was losing love, but really, I was escaping a lie.